They're victims. This has got to change for the conservatives here. This mentality has to change. You ask for the moon, and then you maybe get what you need. So you have to ask yourself, they're calling me a Nazi. Oh, are they saying I said that all Muslims are Nazis? Well, you heard me say it here. What did I say? I didn't say all Muslims are Nazis. I said Hamas is a Nazi party. I said people who want to exterminate the Jews and say so are Nazis. They're worse than Nazis because the Nazis, Hitler, hid the final solution from the German people because he thought they were too civilized and decent. Ahmadinejad shouts it from the rooftops, kill the Jews, wipe Americans and Jews off the face of the earth. And Hamas applauds. And the Muslim Students Association here and the Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace praise Hamas as freedom fighters. Yes, free the earth of Jews. That's what they're about. So you will see also, you can see on the internet a film that was made by the Palestine Club at Brooklyn College when I spoke there, and severely edited and cut so that you see me saying conclusions without ever hearing what I had to say to lead up to the conclusion. So here's what I had to say to lead up to one of the conclusions they have there. You have to ask yourself, how can a progressive, let alone a progressive Jew, who thinks of themselves as championing and defending gays, women, who's the greatest oppressor of women in the world today? It's Islam. Wake up. Women are chattel. They're slaves. In Saudi Arabia, if you're in the elite and you're a female, you can't drive. You can't appear on a street as a woman without an escort. Well, they'll stone you to death. If you're an adolescent girl, 12, 13, you're going to have your clitoris sliced off without an anesthetic. How do I know that? I read it in the New York Times. Not exactly a conservative paper. At the Women's Studies Department here, everywhere, total silence. I have watched feminists on TV defend. I still cannot believe I saw this. But they had Tariq Ramadan on TV, who was the grandson of Hassan al-Banna, the Nazi founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, who comes off as such a sophisticated intellectual. Big campaign by the American Association of University Professors to get the ban on him lifted. The State Department had banned him from coming to this country because he's involved with terrorist organizations. But the AAUP, and I'm sure the enlightened people on the UCLA faculty, all petitioned that he should come, and he came. And he was asked, you know, if he was against stoning. Women stoned because they're accused of fornicating. And he said he would like to see a moratorium on stoning. A moratorium, yeah. And I saw a feminist, her name is Joan Wallach Scott, and she's a professor at the Institute for Advanced Study. What a disgrace, at Princeton. Leading feminist scholar. Defend Tariq Ramadan and the moratorium on stoning. You know, Trotsky once said, he said that Stalinism was a perfect theory for gluing up the brain. And I will say that about progressivism. So what I said at Brooklyn College is this. I said, how is it possible that people who think of themselves as enlightened and progressive you know, for equality of women and blacks and so forth, how is it that they can support Hamas? How is it that they can support Palestinians who are calling for push the Jews into the sea and kill them? And I said, well, I mean, one of the reasons is they probably think, because I am so far removed. I mean, I spent, the first 35 years of my life in the left, but I cannot imagine as a leftist supporting Hamas. But here's what I came up with. Well, the Israelis are oppressing them, so it kind of drives them out of their mind a little bit, and we have to, cut them some slack on that. And you actually hear it. You hear leftists defend suicide bombing as desperation. They have no other choice. Really? What I said was this. People have been oppressed for thousands of years, horribly oppressed, enslaved, massacred. And yet, in thousands of years of recorded history, there has never before, never been a people that has strapped bombs onto its own children, told them to go ahead and blow up other children. And if you do, you're going to go to heaven. And if you're lucky enough to be male, you're going to get 72 virgins. That is sick. That's a sick death cult, is what. Well, every one of you who applauded qualifies to be on the internet as I am. Horowitz spreading hatred at Brooklyn College, because all they show me saying is that's sick. Sick culture, which it is. I think part of the problem here, part of the problem certainly on this campus, is that Jews are not standing up for themselves the way they need to. I offered to debate the head of the rabbi who runs Hillel, Chaim Seidler-Feller, who I was once on a TV show. I was on a panel with him, actually, so of course, he won't debate me. As I said, I mean, the left calls you names because they really can't handle the argument, let alone the truth. It's disgraceful that the Jewish community on this campus and the progressive community the progressive community is collusive in this, but that people who think of themselves as enlightened have not said that the apartheid wall is a violation of the very spirit that the University of California presents to its donors and the parents as standing up for. What kind of respect is it to call a